I want to ask you a question. Who's coaching you? Who's asking you the tough questions? Who's telling you, man, you're the common denominator to all of your issues and challenges? Who's telling you, man, all day long you become the magnetic pulse that attracts to you both good and bad? I want to be your life coach. I want to be the one that cheers you on to the finish line. I want to be the one that you ask the tough questions. And it doesn't mean that I have all the answers, but it means that you have a partner, someone who believes in you, not the you see right now, but the you can't imagine, the you that you are to become, the you were destined to be. I always say we both need the positive and the negative. It's not enough to have the knowledge of the matter, but we must have the wisdom as well. For wisdom settles it. And that's what I want to offer you as you join me on the Coach's Corner. I want to offer you the wisdom of the matter. Maybe it might be relationships, talking about our campaigns for more, for life, the dark room for our subconscious, our spiritual journey. Whatever it is, I want to be there to encourage you, to build you, to challenge you, to cheer you on to the finish line. I'm qualified to do this. Why? Because I'm you.
Well, surely, thank you so very much for joining us once again on the Coach's Corner. And as I always say, I appreciate all of you that are listening, podcast platforms, radio platforms, and beyond. I bring to the tables personal and professional issues of which I am learning to face, and also bring to the table the scars from the battles of life. But yet I also bring the wisdoms, the things that I have learned as I talk and share with you, and trust that I have earned the right to, speak into your life. Thank you so much, Spreaker, Voicecast, Ustream, YouTube. Thank you so much. Twitter's picking up. Thank you so much. Organically, Twitter is picking up. No one is managing our Twitter at the moment. But thank you so very much for those that are logging in through the Facebook fan pages. Thank you for those that are listening in on the Block Radio program, SIBN Radio-by SelectUSATV.com. Thank you for those that have given us comments, feedback on the SIBN television site. We thank you so very much. We appreciate you. And I want to make sure that I say today that I am proud of who you are. Not what you got, but who you are. I want to make that clear, that the coach is very, very proud of you. Just the fact that you hope and desire to do something different, I'm proud of you. Thank you so much, Mr. Engineer. And today we're going to talk about last words, last day, the LLII Formula, or the LLII Formula. Once again, I repeat, last words, last day, the LLII Formula. Is this my last day? It could be. Let me pause and let you think about that. Is this your last day? It could be. Then what would be your last words? Pause and think on that. What would be the last thing you would say to your enemy? At least those that you consider to be. What would be the last words you would say to your friends? What would be the last words you would say to relatives and perhaps family members that have agitated the left side of you? The LLII Formula is very simple. Live like it is. Live like it is your last day. When you speak, live like it is your last words. When you're doing your task and your talents and your various projects and your business, live like it is the only project you'll ever have I was thinking the other day about success and how that most of us want to maturate toward more. Of course, it's the human way to want more in life. But I wanted to backtrack in my own mind and think upon a pattern of thoughts about how I arrived at where I am. Should it be also integral to reflect on that and to live like it is already successful enough? We're always pushing for more, but could more be more attracted to us if we reach back in appreciation and gratitude? If we reflected on how we arrived in the progress that we have seen in success. I think part of it is our culture and our surroundings. Everything is moving so fast. Even your phone now, just a few short years ago, and for those that may be listening to this in 30, many years ago, you didn't have a touchscreen phone. And now the screen of the phone has been matched with the heat of your fingertips. And just about everything that you now use in your digital world is touch screen. And so this has also changed the eye digital from your eyesight to your digital object in your hand. It has changed the coordination from hand to eye. It has increased the pictorials recorded from the brain, from the eye to the brain. What am I saying? We have been given instruments to push us into the fast lane. I was driving the other day and I was at total, I was at total peace, I was really out there, just relaxed. I had been in the studio, I had been grinding for a number of hours. I know that I spend too much time working. I know that. I'm working on that. But I got in my truck and I proceeded to go to my AV class. I hold AV classes for kids, youths, and organizations and beyond, teaching broadcast media techniques. And so the kids are always fun because they do so well. And so I was on my way to the class. I wasn't in a rush, and I got a ticket. And I was monitoring my pulse and my reaction, and I was monitoring my thoughts as the process of the ticket was being written. And I had nothing to say. Of course, after the officer left, I was like, wow. And the ticket was for driving too fast in a school zone. Well, technically speaking, you could say I wasn't paying attention, but I was driving the speed limit, but just not quite the speed limit for a school zone. I wasn't living like it is that day. Though I was peaceful, though I was quiet, though I was driving the speed limit, I wasn't driving according to the ticket. This is not an admission of guilt, but according to the ticket, I wasn't driving the speed limit for a school zone. In other words, obviously, again, not meaning any guilt here, driving without looking up. Because if you notice, when you drive through a school zone, the yellow flashing sign is up. Your eye has to move upward. But I had been grinding in the studio, I don't know, maybe 3 days straight, 12 to 15 hours. It was just absolutely, I just was in a zone. Every day could be my last. And so my final words that I would give in advance of the day that will be my last, though it may not be today, though the day may be the first of the last days, let me give my last words now. I'm proud of you. I'm not proud of what you're doing, but I'm proud of who you are becoming. I wanted to make sure that I say that to you now, just in case I never meet you, just in case you never get around to sending me that email, just in case you never get around to leaving a comment, because why would I need to comment? That guy's got everything. That's what some people say. I want to take this time now to tell you how much I don't believe you, but I believe in you, because we tend to live life pretentiously. And out of that pretension, we have to wear masks to survive as well as escape the pains of our survival. And so my double L and double I stands for the fact that I cannot predict the next moment. So hence then, I want to back up into this beginning of the day, as it were, having moved forward into my last day on earth, giving you my last words ever. I believe in you. I believe that your belief system should be upgraded. I'm not talking about being more inclusive. I'm not talking about a social upgrade. I'm talking about a personal upgrade, to where now I'm willing to investigate and look into with quiet reflection what I believe in and why. I believe that if I'm going to be, quote unquote, a Christian, I'm going to have the foundational network of the Word, and not necessarily more foundational cultural additives in my life. I always say I'm not a Christian today because of me. I'm a Christian today in part because I had two parents, though they made a plethora of mistakes, I had two parents who insisted on creating an environment where the Word was played 24/7, or before they were 24/7, 12 hours a day. And that Word got down in the crevices and the cracks, and even when I have tried to walk away from it, I have not been successful. Could this be my last day? If this was my last day, then let me give you my last words. That we must live like it is. When was the last time you gave someone that meant something to you because they're close in your proximity a hug? When was the last time you text, "I love you, you mean a lot to me"? Most people can't handle that. We're so connected to romance that we have forgotten about the other meanings of love, brotherly affection, and of course agape. We have so connected ourselves to the sensual, pleasurable moment. That's many people's double L, double I. The pleasure. Some so much to the point that pleasure now becomes an insensitive ideal. Now I'm simply in the trench of fulfillment, but I will never be fulfilled. If this was my last day, then I would give you my last words. That you can do this. You deserve to have the best, but you must already begin inside, believing that you are the best, not the best to take advantage and take down others who are becoming their best, but the best in your own right, standing in your own two shoes. You can do this. It is often told of someone's actual death occurring and then the person being close but being distant. Having said, I wish I could have told them how much they meant to me. I wish I could have shared with them how much they impacted my life. I wish my words would have been different. The LLII Formula simply means that every day I live like it's my last. Every day I lived like it was my first and my last. If this was my last day, then let me give you my last words. You deserve better than what you're giving yourself. That haphazard commitment. You've walked away from certain disciplines. You've given up on insight. You've thrown away certain wisdoms. You've tucked away too much pain. The corridors of your heart can't hold any more disappointment. I heard a song once. It said, let go and let God. I heard a playwright proclaim that your arms are too short to box with God. I heard an old church mother say, look up or crack up. No pain, no gain. The LLII Formula has very little perspective on the future. It lives in the now. One Bible scholar writes, now faith is the faith that operates in the now. If this was my last day, then let me give you my last words, that the faith that you have can't be the faith of yesterday or the faith of tomorrow, of what you're anticipating on tomorrow or what you anticipated yesterday that did not arrive yet, but the faith that you must have, coupled in the wisdoms and understandings as you progress in the journey therein. You must have faith now. Yesterday I missed that because I didn't couple faith with other ingredients, and tomorrow I may miss it again because I'm overly excited about my daughter graduating from college, to use an example. But every day that you can be conscious of how we must walk this life. If this was my last day, then let me give you my last words, and that is, you must walk by faith now. If this was my last day, which it's not, but it just in case it might be, let me give you my last words. There is nothing that you can't do, but the doing is secondary and not primary, because the being is what the Coach's Corner has been about. We're trying to get you to the finish line. And the only way we know how to do it is to celebrate you right where you stand. This is why the church has missed it. The church has celebrated you with the anticipatory expectation that since you're working, you're going to pay tithes. Hate to go there, but just indulge me for a moment. Others celebrate you because you just came out of trouble. How often we do that, because it seems that we gravitate more toward people who are in trouble because that's where we can shine the best. It's not oftentimes you find people doing well internally and being celebrated at the same time. You might have to listen to this again to get that one. If this was my last day, then let me give you my last words. You are to be celebrated and not tolerated. And the only way that you're going to get the celebration that you deserve is that you must start the party. I'm not talking about the liquor and the weed and the booty calls. I'm not talking about the multiple sexual acts that you can commit. I'm not talking about multiple church services. I'm talking about the integral evaluation of how you want this party to go down and an authentic celebration therein. I was thinking the other day about a very simple thing that I would like to return to that I had all throughout my youth and nearly my young adult years. Simply walking through a park. Simply walking through a park. Simply running on a trail. I'm not talking about a treadmill, I'm not talking about the gym, but I'm talking about when I was a child, I used to run and walk all the time. And I miss that. And in my mind, I've begun to live like it is. The LLII has been applied to the very simplest of things. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated. That's one of the things that I have learned about myself, is that my father taught me how to think, and thereby I think in a very complicated way. I can solve very complicated issues. I can resolve very complicated problems because I had a very complicated life, and therapeutically I had many people, counselors, psychologists, psychiatrists, doctors, all kinds of people who contribute to my life and to make sure that then was not my last day. And the anger outburst and the rants and the senseless response, which in some cases was no response at all, wouldn't be good to have as a legacy. The LLII says, listen, I don't know about tomorrow, and I can't do anything about yesterday. It's gone. I realize that I have made mistakes. I have accepted that now. I've accepted that's part of my journey. I've accepted that that's part of my maturation. I've accepted that these scars will some will go away and some will never go away, and some will never dissipate. And I wish that I could have the beauty of innocence in all cases and front like nothing ever bothers me and pretend like I'm super strong all the time, borrow from my strengths to cover my weaknesses so no one will see how frail I really am. But unfortunately, I just can't keep up with that pretentious story. I just can't keep the circus act going fast enough. As I spoke about the digital things that we're using now, the cell phones and the tablets and the computers and laptops have changed the eye coordination from hand to eye and from eye to brain. The multiple pictures that the brain sees now versus 30 years ago puts us in a rush mode. We can hardly digest all the frames that our eyes see, literally. But we have to stop and reflect. We hear in the songs, we want the Bentleys and the Benz, and we want the 20,000 square foot home. Well, live like it is. Not because you living like it is because you want it to come, but live like it is because it is wherever your mind is. That mansion is wherever you are. That Bentley is whatever you're driving. If it is to be, it is up to me. But it all starts in the mind. And what if it was your last day? You would be able to die peacefully with a smile on your face. What if it was your last words and your last day? And there's no Bentley in the driveway. There's no 20,000 square foot house on the hill, for which many in their schedules, looking at their hours, would kill for. It wouldn't matter, because in my mind I lived it. And if I can stay there in the journey of mental assertion, mental maturity, spiritual and mental marital bliss, marital bliss, where the spirit and the soul, though integrated naturally, make an agreement with one another. I, the soul, agree to follow the spirit, and I, the spirit, says the spirit, agree to lead the soul. You know what the soul is: the will, the mind, and the emotions. We don't lead life with our minds, but we do. But if you're going to have change, you have to change your mind that you're leading with. The LLII Formula applies right now. You want to stop beating your girlfriend? Live like it is the thought you just desired. The thought that you contribute the most time to is the most dominant thought, by which you'll have results from the most dominant thought. Live LLII like it is. And if that's not enough, then live like it's your last day. Your last words. The reason why a lot of us cannot maturate toward a more peaceful integration with our neighbors, family, friends, or the journey of our destiny is because we're too conflicted and we're not reflective. We don't take time to think and think. We're in such a hurry. We have so many demands. We want more. I want the next one and the next one. And it's not that your life and my life cannot be more. That's not the point. But more assuredly, that when you reach more, M-O-R-E, we want you to be fit mentally, spiritually. We want you to be whole. We want you to be rounded, balanced, modest. The LLII applies now. Pretend like it's your last day. What would you change? I'm coming into a last day season for things. Oh, trust me when I tell you, I am coming into the last day seasons. There's some things I will never repeat. And then there are some things that I have repeated that needs breaking. This is how we roll. When you think about this, you pass these things on, not in the words of "did you know," and of course share the broadcast with a friend, but you pass it on by doing it. LLII applies to your life and mine. If this was my last day and these were my last words, what would they be? Would they build or destroy? Would they bring pain or would they bring joy? This is the coach. Thank you so very much for listening. And until next time, would you please take care of yourself? Remember, I'm proud of you for listening, for sharing, for growing.
listening to the sounds of your lifestyle improvement station.